Hey
Welcome back
y'all.
to Living Black Podcast with your host, Ari Ann.
Nayla.
And today we're going to be talking about trust issues. So basically, we're going to be talking about trust issues. How do they form? Why do they form? And how to comfort those who have trust issues.
Yes.
So, without further ado, let's start with today's question of the day. Today's question of the day is: has there been a past friendship or relationship in where you've had issues trusting the other person? Why?
I'll go first. So, yes, there's been many situations, but for me, one friendship situation particularly, um, and the reason I really had trust issues with her is because we had like past issues. There's a lot of drama with between girls most of the time, especially teenage girls. And so there was a lot of drama before, so it was just like kind of hard for me to trust her after that, and still to this day. So I try to just make sure to always be aware of what's going on between me and her because I can't trust her like I used to trust her. What about you?
I agree with that entirely. But in this scenario, I've had like an online friend. Um, we aren't really friends right now. I wouldn't consider it. But the issue with it is that in the past, there was a lot of situations where there was a lot of disrespectful behaviors taking place and suspicious activity taking place that I did not like.
Mhm.
And it was just a matter of fact that I was losing trust in them slowly. And after some time, I just gave it up at that point and just called it quits. Now, we still kind of talk, but it's not the same type of vibe after what all took place. And, when somebody breaks your trust, it's like nothing after that ever stays the same. It's just like a broken bond.
Yep, that's very true. And sometimes it's good to just like distance yourself from that energy because like that type of energy can bring people down sometimes.
I agree entirely. So, we're going to reveal the topic and our subtopics for today. So, our topic for today, like I said in the beginning, was or is trust issues. How do they form? Why do they form? And how are we going to comfort people that have trust issues? So, some of the subtopics that we have on our list today is issues and incidents with former friends or current friends. Another one is having a hard time opening up to someone just because of your personal issues with trusting others and things like that. Failed relationships and low self esteem, and how trust issues or someone losing trust in somebody else or gaining or sorry losing the ability to have trust in someone else and how that affects their person, well, the person or their personality as a whole.
Okay.
So, the whole truth of this topic today will be how everyone's past impacts their future and current actions. So, basically, the first subtopic that I listed, well, that is on our list for today, is the issues and incidents with former friends. So, like Nayla has said in the beginning, I believe you said that you were having drama with your friend or your friends,
Mhm.
and what had happened was that you were losing trust in them because of like drama and things like that.
Mhm.
And those are things that take place in relationships where drama and other things take place. And it's just that when things go left, the whole relationship kind of follows that path.
Yep. And usually when drama happens, like you can see a whole nother side of a person that you didn't know existed. And so like once you see that, it's hard to like really regain trust back. That's what happened for me at least. Like I saw a whole nother side of her that I had never seen before. And that was like my breaking point. I was like, okay, I can't trust you anymore because this is not it.
I agree. Because once you get into things and people start showing their true colors, it's like, then why am I in a relationship? relationship with you if you're this kind of person.
Mhm.
If I knew you were this kind of person from the get go, I wouldn't even be talking to you right now.
Right.
So something else that I wanted to talk about is this takes place in a lot of relationships where you tell something to your friend that you wanted to keep between y'all, but it ends up being in somebody else's business and everybody else in your school knows about it by then. So, for example, you have a friend from school and you tell them about like something that took place between you and your boyfriend or girlfriend or whoever, and it was something that was private, and you kind of also needed their advice on it.
Mhm.
Now, your friend, and this is what we call a fake friend because real friends don't do that.
Mhm.
They tell your business off to somebody else, and then everybody else talks about it, and it's all information going on in the hallways, and everybody now knows about it. That's not okay because that's personal information that you had that you were telling your friend, and now everybody else knows about it. And now you just lost trust in your friend because they done told off your business to everybody else,
Mhm.
and you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah. And I think like once you've had a situation like that, you'll be afraid like you'll have well, yeah, that's how trust issues form with not only that person, but in general because if you have a situation or an experience like that, you'll basically be traumatized from talking to people about certain things cuz you're nervous like you're nervous if they'll go and tell your information out as well.
That is so accurate. So another thing that I had to add was that, well, moving on to next subtopic, you just literally led us into the next one. Um, Having a hard time opening up to someone else because of somebody's personal issues and interests. So if, like in the last scenario that I was talking about, if you told something personal to your friend and they told it off to other people that did not need to know about it, now you lost trust in them and you don't know who you're able to trust anymore. And now you're having a hard time opening up to other people just because your friend did that. And when you lose trust in somebody else, it can really affect you mentally and totally within your whole personality.
Mhm.
You've heard too much, seen it all, etc. And the person themselves, they just don't feel like they're able to trust anybody with their personal issues, as it frightens them and it scares them that somebody else will find out about those issues that they're having that they're talking to someone else about because they no longer have trust in people,
Yep.
which is why most failed relationships, once trust is lost, can cause a lot of disorganization and disruption within the person's mind and mindset.
Yes, that is very true.
hmm I know a lot of people after they break up with others, like boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever, they start to go a little insane or lose themselves because that relationship really meant a lot to them. And now that it's gone, it's broke them entirely.
Mhm.
And that's a great example because it's causing disorganization and a whole bunch of other things within their mindset because they worked so hard to get to this point and now they're just stuck there,
Exactly.
lost without a relationship. Another thing that can cause trust issues is someone's low self esteem. So, if they have any insecurities, like within their body or anything of that sort, it can make them feel like they're not ready for trusting other people yet because, they have low self esteem and they don't have enough confidence within themselves to
Mhm.
talk about their issues with others.
Mhm. It's almost like they can't trust themselves, so how would they be able to trust other people? It's kind of like that.
hmm That exists today as well. Um, Another prime example is like somebody having insecurities within their bodies, and let's say they needed to go to a doctor's appointment or maybe go to the nail salon or something like that. It's kind of like a moment of them being insecure about themselves and being embarrassed to like show what they need to show to the person because they're not confident about their body. And that's a problem within today's society that a lot of people try to not normalize having bigger bodies, plus size women, things like that. And that's not tolerable because when you do that to people, it lowers their self esteem and it makes them feel like they're not accepted in this world. And
Mhm.
bodies come within all shapes and sizes and forms and everything of that sort. And when you make people feel like they're not welcome any type of way, it lowers their self esteem and it makes them feel like they're not acceptable within this world. And you don't want that because people should not have to change who they are as a person or their appearance just for somebody else to let them know that they're accepted or they like how they look.
Exactly. And in today's society, especially, many people have trust issues and low self esteem because people are very judging and harsh these days. Like even before, but I feel like it's more now than ever, especially in this generation. But people are always judging people, and that can really lower someone's low self esteem and cause trust issues.
Truly, that's so true. So another thing that I wanted to get into was a lot of people don't know how to comfort people when it comes to them having trust issues. So if you're trying to get in contact with somebody that isn't very trustworthy of others or they aren't sure who they want to talk to or how they want to connect with other people and they may have issues from their last relationship, what you can do is comfort them. Never be afraid to ask them how they're doing. Tell them that everything that they're going through personally is going to be okay. And your conversation will always be private no matter what. And it's always available for them to reopen the conversation and return back to what you were last talking about.
Mhm.
The thing with that is a lot of people with trust issues, they need that confirmation to know that their conversation between you and them is totally private. And it's just the fact that a lot of people these days are not very conservative or really careful about how they treat other people's business and, you know,
Mhm.
how they respect other people's boundaries because some people have things that they don't need other people knowing. And it's just that there's a lot of things that go on in this world today that, people they don't want going out to the public because it can put them in either a lot of harm or it can just be very confidential.
Mhm. Yeah, I totally agree.
hmm So, another thing we should always remember, no matter, even if, all right, so let me know when you're recording.
It's
Some
recording.
type of okay. So the truth of this whole topic is everyone's past impacts their future and current actions. So if anybody has had a failed relationship in the past or anything has gone wrong within the past, there's always something that's left behind in them most of the time that is going to affect their future version of themselves and also affects them as a person and how they act. And this can exist within all types of relationships where maybe the boyfriend or girlfriend cheated and now the person has trust issues. Another thing is a failed family relationship where you had trust in family to be there for you and support you and guide you through everything. And now there's nothing left of them there, and they're all turning negative against you, and nobody has support, and it feels like you're just hitting a border wall, and there's nothing left for you to salvage from your family.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything else we had to add to this topic before we close out?
I don't think so, but I noticed that in the beginning and most of this podcast episode, we did mostly speak about only like friendships and relationships with like boyfriends and stuff, like boyfriends and girlfriends and whatever. But as Ari did say, this can happen with families, you know, your parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, really anyone. So I just wanted to add that because we really only talked about like friendships and stuff like that.
Agreed. You never know that family members can turn your back on you at any given moment.
Mm-hmm.
And just as a highlight, if you're still listening right now, looking out on the 24th of May, we're going to be having an episode that's going to be released that is going to talk about trust issues with family relationships, and mainly how we can jump back from those type of relationships.
Mm-hmm. Cause
Now,
yep.
as we close out this episode, we just want to remind you all that trust issues and having insecurities are all right. And everybody goes through different things within their life. And there's always something that people have to improve from. And as people, we always can improve our personalities and our relationships as a whole. If you're
Yes.
ever looking for more content from us, or to look back any other episodes we have, or you're interested in following one of our podcast channels, you can find us on Spotify at Living Black Podcast. You could also find us on YouTube at Living Black Podcast. And on Instagram, you can find us at living.black_podcast. That is all lowercase.
And all of our links are in a link tree that is linked in our Instagram bio, so feel free to check that out. It'll also be linked down in the description below.
Yes. So I hope you all enjoyed this episode, even though it was a really serious episode. And we just hope you all enjoyed it, like I said. And if there's anything else you want to look forward to us talking about in a future topic, as we're winding down to our last few topics available, please let us know on Instagram or shoot us an email at livingblackpodcast@gmail.com. That's livingblackpodcast@gmail.com. All lowercase.
Yep.
So that's it for now. Thank y'all, and see you guys in the next episode.
Bye, y'all.